So I'm just getting through watching Tony Bellew in fucking David Hayes' career, because that's basically what happened. David Hayes should hang him up. He's done. Me personally, after he tore his Achilles, he shouldn't have tried to come back in the ring. You know, you got Tony Bellew trying to call out Andre Ward a fight I doubt happens, but if he thinks that Andre Ward is a David Hayes, he has another thing coming. If he thinks that fight would happen in the UK, as far as like Andre Ward, he has another thing coming. I don't see Tony Bellew as that person that would entice Andre Ward to come out of retirement, especially at heavyweight, which is possible. Anything is possible, but Tony Bellew is not that name, if you ask me, because what's the end goal if he beats Tony Bellew? What is that prize at the end of the rainbow if he beats Tony Bellew? I don't know. I don't know how much the weight would play a factor either in that, because 9 out of 10 times that fight will be at heavyweight. I just don't see it as an appeasing fight for Andre Ward. But you never know. I mean, if Andre Ward got that itch, he might come back out there. But I don't know. But this is not what this video is about. This video is about the interview after the fight. And they asked AJ about the fight. And he said, with Wilder, of course, and he said he's 95% certain. I got the link. I'll post it in the video after I'm done with this. But he said, I'm 95% certain that this fight is going to happen probably at the end of the year. Right now, it's just the little things. Like, right now, I'm not about to sell my career, this, that, and the third. It's the little things in the contract that they got to work out. Now, people could take what he said for what they want. You know what I'm saying? You think he's going to beat him in 3 rounds? I don't know. I mean, hey, it could happen. It could happen. Don't get me wrong. It can happen. This is heavyweight boxing. All it takes is one shot. But the thing about it, I always tell people when I look at the two, AJ being an orthodox fighter is not going to have the longer reach. He's not going to be the taller person in that ring. He's not. He's going to be a bigger guy, but he's not going to be a taller guy. And Wilder, unlike against Ortiz, is going to be able to use his jab to fend off AJ. AJ is a combination puncher, whereas Wilder is a 1-2 puncher. So it's going to be a little harder than what people think. I don't think it's going to go the distance, whoever wins the fight, but whoever wins the fight is going to go more than 3 rounds. I can pretty much guarantee you that, because the first round is going to be filling out. The second round might still be a filling out round. I see one of them getting their jab off in the second round. Third round, that's when the fight really is going to begin. So whoever wins that fight is going to happen, I would say, around the 7th and 8th round. I don't see an early stoppage for either one of them. But I will say this, the longer that fight goes, and it would behoove AJ to get Wilder out of that fight early, because the longer that fight goes, AJ has shown time and time again, he gasses. If this fight goes past 5-6 rounds, the favors and the odds would favor Wilder. That's just truth being told, and it's on tape. It's on tape. I think Klitschko made a mistake with AJ by letting AJ get a second win. I don't think Wilder lets AJ get a second win. So if I were you, Alex, I would hope that he can get Wilder out of there in 3 rounds, for the simple fact of the matter. If it goes past 4, 5, 6 rounds and AJ starts gassing, Wilder's not going to let him off the hook like that. But back to what I was saying, he said it's a 95% chance that it's going to happen. So basically what he said is the money's there, which I never doubted the money is there. You're looking at, you got to think about who Wilder is being backed by. Not only is he being backed by Al Heyman, you know Showtime is going to have a vested interest in it. You know CBS owns Showtime. You know who else, you know, they're in cahoots with? PBC they have a contract with Fox. Fox owns Sky Sports. A lot of people in the UK don't know that. Fox, United States Fox, via Viacom, owns Sky Sports. So the money in the backing was always there because they already seen that this is the biggest fight that can be made in boxing right now. There's no question about that. So now he's not even trying to hide the fact the money is there. Here's the thing, and this is what I got the problem with. You got to go by what these guys say. They wanted Deontay Wilder to accept what, either $12.5 million or 12% of the fight. I think it was something like that, but I'm going to go with the 12.5 because that's what I heard the most. They wanted Deontay Wilder to take the $12.5 million and go to the UK. One of the nuances that AJ is complaining about is that he wants to fight in the UK. Well, they're about to give you $50 million. When Deontay Wilder was about to get $5 million, he was going to Russia off a purse bid. They're about to give you $50 million. So the chances of this fight happening in the UK are pretty much slim to none. And outside of boxing, something caught my attention yesterday. I mean, if you want to look at it, you can Google it. It's truth being told. What a lot of UK fans don't understand is, despite how they can pack an arena, this, that, and the third, just yesterday, California, the state of California, one of the 50 states of the United States, surpassed the United Kingdom as the 5th largest economy in the world. One state. No matter how much money they think they can pull in the UK, the true money for a heavyweight, especially undisputed fight, is going to be stateside. And not only is it going to be stateside, despite you can pack up an arena with 80,000 people in the UK, you can do the same business, if not better, with 20,000 people in Las Vegas. You're looking at a weekend of gambling. Do you know how much money that is going to bring in just that weekend for that fight? How much money is going to be just for Las Vegas? If anybody thinks that this fight right now won't pull in at least $100 million, they're crazy. They're crazy. It might not pull in 100 million pounds in the UK, but it's easily going to pull in $100 million in the United States. Easily. So by him wanting this fight to be in the UK, that probably will be the holdup from this fight getting done. Because truth be told, the side that's forking over the money to him, that $50 million that he's not going to see with anybody else, they're going to want this fight in the United States. If he's reluctant to fight in the United States, this fight is not going to get made. And there's not going to be a fight in a year. That 5%, because he said the fight is pretty much 95% done. This is out of AJ's mouth, not mine. I'm just adding an opinion on it. But that 5%, if you look at his demeanor, if you look at the way he worded it, everything, he said, I'm not about to sell my career. So I always wanted this fight to happen in the UK. As soon as he's finished that, I'm not about to sell my fight, sell my career. He said, I always wanted this fight in the UK. I got news for you, bro. If you're going to get that $50 million, this fight is probably not going to happen in the UK because more money can be made in the States off of this fight. If they're forking over $50 million, and that's just logic. If I asked you to give me $50 to do something, and I only offered you $12 to do it, and you're asking me to do the exact same thing, 9 out of 10 times, I'm going to do what you're asking because you're forking over more money. You're forking over what? $38 more than I am. So, I mean, I don't know. If I were AJ, I would get off of it. I would have to think, hey, I'm the world champion. I have to defend my title over the globe, across the world. I mean, there's not a heavyweight champion that hasn't fought in the United States. Even before Tyson Fury became heavyweight champion, he fought in the United States. Even he knew that. Even though it was an undercard fight, he fought in the United States against Steve Cunningham. That fight happened in the United States. Lennox Lewis fought in the United States. You know, the majority of Lennox Lewis fights were in the United States, matter of fact. But he's going to have to get off of it. If he beats Wilder, then sure. But even Klitschko, who dominated the heavyweight division over 10 years, you might as well say. Even he fought in the United States. Periodically, he home-based in Germany, which there's no reason he shouldn't have home-based overseas. He was doing the majority of his business over there. But he always tried to find opponents, the right opponents, to fight stateside because this is where the money is. He trains in Miami, you know? Like, this is where the money is. So AJ has to come to that realization, like, hey, if I'm going to get this money, if I'm going to make the money I can make by being heavyweight champion of the world, I'm eventually going to have to come up with my stance and fight in the United States. And it's only logical because you're not in this business to get hurt. You're in this business for two things, to make a legacy and to make money. If you're not making a legacy, you're going to make money. But if you're not making money, then it's kind of a failure here. Why shortchange yourself? If you are confident that you can beat Deontay Wilder, which I'm sure he is, he's a fighter. But if you're confident you can beat Deontay Wilder, then take that $50 million, go to Las Vegas, knock out Wilder, do what you're going to do, because I don't think this fight goes to decision. Knock out Wilder, go back to the UK, have your next fight in the UK. Next few fights in the UK if you want to. Because like I said, you're not going to get $50 million for anybody else. And he's very, very, you'll have to watch, right? If you go to Sky Sports on YouTube, they just uploaded the interview after the fight. If you didn't catch the interview after the fight. And like I said, listen to what he says. Look at his demeanor. Look at his demeanor when he says it. Hey, it's a possibility. Hey, just like I told Alex, it's a possibility. I don't see this fight. I see the fight going longer than 3 rounds, like he said, but I don't see it going double-digit rounds for the simple fact of the matter, like I said, AJ's best chances are going to be within the first 4 rounds. After that first 4 rounds, when AJ gasses, because he has a stamina problem, and he's going to face stuff that he hasn't seen before. He's going to face somebody with a longer reach. He's going to face a taller fighter. I mean, Deontay Wilder is going to be taller than him by like 2 inches. And he's going to have at least a 4 or 5 inch reach advantage over AJ. And like I said, Deontay Wilder is more of a 1-2, jab, 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 1-2, 1-2. But one shot, he can put your lights out type fighter. And that goes 12 rounds, where AJ is more of a combination puncher. He's got to try to find a way to get inside that jab, throw his combinations, and hopefully something will land that'll knock Wilder out. But one thing we've found out about Wilder has a chin, man. So that's easier said than done. That's going to be easier said than done. I think that he'll be able to work his jab way better against AJ than he did Ortiz, by Ortiz being a southpaw. I think he'll be able to do that. I think he'll work his jab way better against AJ than he would. Hey, what's up, Matt, man? I'm just breaking down what I seen in this AJ interview that I seen on Sky Sports after this Bill Hay fight, man. And he seems like I said, coming out of his mouth, the man said the fight is pretty much 95% done. That last 5% is just little intricate things. He said he always, and I paid attention when he said this. He said, I always wanted this fight to happen in the UK, but my career is not up for sale. You know? So it's little things like that. If the fight happens, when the fight happens, it'll be towards the end of this year. But my career is not, he kept saying that, my career is not up for sale. So anybody that denied that $50 million is on the table, that's out the window. They've shown it now. Hey, this $50 million is real. He said it's 95% done. It's just, A, his career is not up for sale, and B, he always wanted to fight in the UK. And I'm saying this, there's no way AJ got up and finished Vlad, and he has a great heart because he also went the distance before him. Yeah, don't get me wrong, he finished he finished the fight, but Klitschko also let him off the hook in that fight. If you notice, when he got up, Klitschko didn't go in. Klitschko tried to break him down. Klitschko didn't attack him. Klitschko didn't attack him. Klitschko stood back, do a couple of jabs, let him catch a second breath, and that was Klitschko's doom right there. He went the distance with Parker as well, but he didn't knock Parker down. He did not tack him down, you know. And the Tack'em fight, I felt Tack'em could have went on. The referee stopped that. The referee jumped in. I had AJ winning the fight, don't get me wrong, but this is 2 fights in a row where, you know, did he knock? I don't think he knocked Tack'em down now that I recall. I don't even think he knocked Tack'em down. Yeah, it is. That's the thing. And I brought this up, Matt, just yesterday. It was shown that California, the state of California, just surpassed the UK as the 5th biggest economy. And stateside, everybody's like, California is like a broke state. You know what I'm saying? But just yesterday, and don't get me wrong, I know marijuana has a lot, them legalizing marijuana has a lot to do with it. But just yesterday, they said, and it's been shown that California has a bigger economy than the UK as a whole. They just surpassed as the 5th largest economy in the United States. When the Wilder Joshua fight happens, and let's say this fight is in Las Vegas, knowing California and people from Los Angeles, Southern California, all over, people from Mexico, people from all over are going to be coming. You're going to have your UK fans. If people in the UK don't think that this fight is $100 million fight and will generate more money stateside, even with a smaller crowd than it would in the UK, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. That's why I say, even though AJ doesn't want to come off that stance to have that fight in the UK, right now you got to. Right now you got to. Because if you don't come off that stance, A, you risk the fight not happening, because I doubt Wilder is going to go to the UK unless you offer him a similar offer that he just offered you. So I doubt Wilder does that. And B, it's just, what is your purpose of being called a world champion? I mean, this man, if they would have came correct with Wilder in the first place, 9 out of 10 times this fight would be happening in the UK. But like I said, now Wilder's team is in a position. If it doesn't end up with huge, big for boxing. Well, I think it's gonna do high 6 digits. Will it do $1 million? I think it's possible. I think it's possible. If they set this up towards the end of the year, I think it's highly possible this fight can do $1 million. Because right now, I mean, this is what everybody's talking about. You know what I'm saying? This is the fight that can put heavyweight boxing back into that position right now. I think this fight can easily do $1 million buys. I mean, if it happens, shit, they got my money. They got my money. If I can make it to the fight, I'll make it to the fight. But if not, they got my money. I think this fight can do $1 million buys. And like I said, the people behind that $50 million, they know this. They've already crunched the numbers, engaged everything. They know this. They know AJ has enough fan base to travel and generate money. They know, you know what I'm saying, the economy and everything that will happen in Las Vegas. These people probably have a whole card set up in their head right now to generate $1 million. So, you know, AJ's got to realize, man, like, if Eddie Hearn would have came correct with Team Wilder from Jump Street, the probability of this fight happening in the UK would have been outstanding. They could have been like, all right, Wilder, check this out. We'll give you 25-30% of the split and just gone from there. I think they gave Parker like what, 33%? They could have started Wilder at 33% and gone from there. Wilder probably would have been like 35%, and I'm good. Okay, what's 35%? Nothing. Okay, we good. We got to fight. This, that, and the third. But to lowball him at $12.5 million, not knowing that his backers were going to counteroffer, Joshua has 25. It's already undisputed champion. No, he's not. Alex, you're showing how much you know about boxing, dude. He's a unified champion. He's not an undisputed champion. He's not even a lineal champion. No, he's not. To be undisputed, you have to have all 4 sanctioning body titles. You have to have the WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO. You just got the WBO, WBA, IBF. He needs the WBC to be undisputed. Until then, he's a unified champion. Fan, I just want to see the best fight. I really don't care about the business stuff. Yeah, and that's the thing. As a fan, that's what I want. I want to see this fight. I want to see. Everybody wants to see this fight, but we are not the fighters. That's one thing we always got to realize. We are not the fighters. The fighters, like I said, they're going to fight for A, their legacy, and B, business. You're not getting in the ring for free. And I hate to have to jump into the business aspect of it, because I want to see the best fight the best. Everybody should just want to see the best fight the best. But by them initially lowballing this guy, now we're seeing the snowball effect of this. Now we're seeing the snowball effect of that one lowball offer. And like I said, if they would have just came to Wilder just like they came to Parker with at least 33%, hey, we'll give you 33% of this. Cool. It's too technical for Wilder. I think Ortiz was too. I thought Ortiz was too technical for Wilder myself. But like I said, Wilder has things that you don't necessarily learn in a boxing gym. If you pay attention to a lot of the fighters, that matter of fact, Klitschko, he sparred Wilder and everything. He sparred and fought AJ. Matter of fact, Klitschko said it best. He said, I would pick AJ to beat Fury. He was like, Fury was just if I'm not mistaken, he said Fury was a far to win. But he said Wilder's something different. Wilder, he's awkward. He has angles, and he hits way harder than AJ. This is not my words, this is Klitschko's words. He said he hits way harder than AJ. He's gonna have a difficult time with Wilder. The reason he said that is because Wilder is super athletic. They are. I mean, Ortiz is a southpaw. First of all, he's a super skilled southpaw. You got LeBron Kerr in 1 year. You got Brady in 1 over, but it's boxing. Hey, exactly. That's how it is with boxing, man. And it's always because if you really pay attention, it's always because of the business side of boxing. The fight is logical. The fight makes perfect sense. It is the biggest, to me, this is the biggest fight that can be made in boxing right now. It makes perfect sense. But it's always the business aspect and the business side that always holds these fights up. And there's no other fight that makes sense in the heavyweight division right now than AJ versus Wilder. It's just the business side. But me, personally, I would, you know who I would look at? You know who was a perfect example of a person that I would look at if I were AJ? I would look at Manny Pacquiao. All those years, and look at it like this. Manny Pacquiao got, if I recall, $120 million out of the Mayweather fight. He got like $120 million, something like that. Mayweather got like $300 million off of that fight. But look at Manny Pacquiao now. For years and years and years, people were telling Manny Pacquiao, hey, this is what Bob Arum does, this, that, and the third, leave Arum alone, yada, yada, yada. It wasn't until this fight that he's about to have Lucas Matisse that he doesn't want Bob Arum such a major. I mean, he's still fooling with top rank to an extent because he thought he was out of his top rank contract, but no, he's not. But he left Freddie Roach alone, this, that, and the third. He's changing up his team way too late now. And if I was Anthony Joshua, knowing, hey, I got a whole country backing me, knowing win, lose, or draw in this fight with Wilder, I'm still gonna have this country backing me, this, that, and the third, yada, yada, yada. If I were AJ, I would be like, all right, let's put in a rematch clause. Whether I win or lose, let's put in a rematch clause. I will fight you here in the States for the first fight. The second fight, we're doing it in the UK. Call it that. You give me my $50 million, we'll fight in Vegas. After that, we'll fight in the UK. If the fight plays city, do you think Wilder would have enough confidence before? Yeah. Yeah, I do. I do. For the simple fact of the matter, you know what? People said this about Errol Spence. People thought that Errol Spence wouldn't have the confidence. People said that about Timothy Bradley against Junior Witter. There's so many examples of when people said that. You're talking about a man that was about to go to Russia and fight Povetkin. It's a mental makeup thing. The location of the fight doesn't matter because can't nobody fight for you. You get what I'm saying, Alex? Nobody can put those gloves on for AJ. Nobody can put those gloves on for Wilder. They got to fight themselves. It's a mental makeup. And right now, as far as a mental makeup, mentally, meaning where their mind is, how strong. Wilder is a stronger-minded person than AJ right now. Wilder is extremely strong. He said it himself. He said, it ain't when I fight AJ, it's when I beat AJ. I speak things into existence. If you notice, look at all Wilder's, when Wilder talks about AJ, he always talks about that fight like, I've already won. He doesn't think about losing. AJ said in an interview, I think with IFL, you know, I have too much to lose. You know, I got fans, I got friends that I'll let down, yada, yada, yada. And I watched that interview. I was like, see, words like that don't come out of a confident person's mouth. He did an interview with IFL about a month ago that I seen that. It's a mental makeup. That's why I believe it doesn't matter. You're forgetting Wilder was ready to go to the UK. He was ready to go to the UK until they lowballed him. That's why I said when they lowballed him, that changed the whole makeup of this fight. If they would have came with 33, 35%, this fight would probably have been signed by now. Wilder doesn't care where this fight happens. But you know who's going to care where this fight happens? The people that are funding that $50 million. That's going to be the biggest issue now. It's going to be the biggest issue because I know AJ wants to fight. I know AJ wants that $50 million, but I don't think AJ wants to fight outside of the UK. Like I said, the interview is on Sky Sports. Take a look at that interview on Sky Sports, man. And just look at his response to when they asked him that. Like he said, the fight is 95% done. It's just the small things. And my career is not up for sale. And that was just interesting to me. And like I said, look at the way he answered the question. Look at his mannerisms and everything else when he answers the question. I don't think he's afraid of Wilder. I really don't. I just don't think he has his heart set on having to travel for this fight. I don't think he wants it. And I'm calling him now. The best thing he probably can ask for at this point, if he's going to take this fight, is a home and home. All right. Match one is in Las Vegas or Brooklyn, wherever it happens, but I'm willing to bet it's going to happen in Las Vegas. And match two in London. I think that's his only option if he's going to take this fight now. Because, like I said, if side B, I have to call Wilder side B, they're offering up the majority of the money. So if side B is saying, hey, you know what I'm saying, we're not going to take that much. If we're going to take less than 50 million, it's going to be slightly less than 50 million. It's definitely not going to be 20, anywhere from like 12.5 or 20 or maybe even 30 million. You're going to have to boost up that number for us to take, you know what I'm saying, this money to go to UK now, because we're here offering you 50 million. And it's only logical, to be honest with you. It's only logical. And that's a hole that the A side pretty much buried themselves in, you know? And if they would have just offered the guy, like I said, if they would have started off what they offered Parker, then I don't think we have this conversation right now. I think this fight happens in London, and I think it would have been signed by now. I think it would have happened by now. Like to see that we're talking about this. This is the hottest topic of boxing, overshot all boxing topics. The more we talk about, the bigger the fight. Yeah. It is like I said, it is the biggest fight that can be made in boxing today. It is the biggest fight that can be made in boxing today. This is the fight I've been wanting to see. The only fight in the heavyweight division I wanted to see before this was Wilder and Fury. And Fury had his little spell or whatever. You know, glad to see him finally getting himself together and everything like that. I think Fury, Wilder would have been huge. But I don't think Fury Wilder would have been as huge as AJ Wilder is right now. I think on a domestic level, Fury, AJ is going to. And this is another thing. Whether AJ wins or loses this fight, on a domestic level, I think Fury, AJ is going to be huge on a domestic level. I think AJ Fury, because that fight is eventually going to happen, I think that's going to be huge on a domestic level in the UK. So he has his choices right now. But right now, Fury is not ready to go. Fury is about 2 fights away from when he returns to being at a level where I see him getting back in with like a AJ or a Wilder. As of right now, Fury is nowhere near ready to face a Wilder or AJ. This fight will happen. I think it happens in Vegas. I think if they don't come, Fury's fighting. I think he's fighting this summer, July. But even after that fight, I still would give him another. If I were Frank Warren, I would put him in another fight after that. You know what I'm saying? Step it up a notch, because I don't think he comes back against a top 10 opponent. But I would step it up to a top 10 opponent that second fight, just to get him back in, you know what I'm saying, that mode. And I would do it quick. If he's fighting in July, by December, I have him back in the ring. That way, by next spring, okay, we can entertain a Wilder, or we can entertain an AJ. He needs a warm-up fight before he takes him. Exactly. I totally agree. I was a huge fan of Fury, man. I was a huge fan, because Fury can box his fucking ass off, man. Fury can box his fucking ass off. I'm one of the few people that I know that picked Fury over Klitschko. I'm one of the few people that I know that, and I told people, hey, this dude was gonna box Klitschko's ears off, man. And he did. I was a huge fan of Fury. And I think Fury gives both of them. That Fury that fought Klitschko would give Wilder and AJ problems. Not saying he would win, but I'm not necessarily saying he would lose. I would have a hard time picking either one of those fights. I'm a Wilder fan, but Fury, I think, beats Wilder and Joshua. I can't disagree with you, Matt. I can't disagree with you. I cannot disagree with you. Fury's an excellent boxer, man. The thing with Fury, people overlooked his actual skill because of his antics and his mouth. And, you know, I always look at fighters that, you know what I'm saying, run their mouth and this, that, and the third as ways of promoting fights. You know what I'm saying? Majority of the greatest fighters all the time had like the biggest mouths, and they did a couple of antics here and there. You know what I'm saying? But I never disregarded Fury's skill in the ring, because the man was incredibly fucking skilled. And if he comes back near that, he's going to give both of those guys problems, man. The man is fucking skilled as hell. He's up there with Ortiz as the most skilled. And that would have been a hell of a fight, Ortiz versus Fury, man. That would have been a hell of a fucking fight. At that time, I would have loved to see Ortiz and Fury. I would have loved to see Ortiz and Fury. I don't know who I would have picked in that fight. I really wouldn't. Because to me, as far as skill for skill, those are the two most skilled heavyweight weights to me personally. This is my opinion. But from what I've seen, those two are the most skilled heavyweights out there. Yeah. Yep. Fury is tall as shit. Fury is what, like 6'7", 6'8", something like that. And I think Wilder's like what, 6'8", 6'9", something like that. Yeah, he's 6'9". And I know Wilder's like 6'8", 6'7", 6'8", something like that. Joshua is what, 6'6"? Yeah. Yeah, Joshua's 6'6". That's what I said. I wouldn't know how. The only thing about Fury is he just doesn't have that oomph behind his punch. He'll pot shot you to death, but he'll do it smart. And he uses his weight smart. He's a big guy, but he uses his weight smart. I haven't seen a heavyweight use his weight that smartly in years. He uses his weight smart. Fury is
extremely skilled heavyweight. Yeah, that's his own. If Fury had a punch, if Fury had if he had a little more kick to his punch, man, if he had a little more kick to that right hand, man, Fury would be the most dangerous heavyweight we've seen in years. But he's just missing that one thing. Other than that, as far as like boxing him, you're not gonna outbox Tyson Fury. You're not gonna outbox Tyson Fury. Because he's smart. He is one of the smarter fighters. He is probably, if not the smartest heavyweight of this generation. He's 1B. He's 1B. But if you ask me, as far as like what I've seen in the heavyweight division thus far, he is the smartest by far. He doesn't put himself in unnecessary risk or anything. Yeah, it was. He had to come off of the canvas against. I watched that fight live, actually. He had to come off the canvas against Steve Cunningham, which I was like, getting knocked down by a blown up cruiserweight. But what did he do? He used his weight against Cunningham on the ropes. He seen Cunningham tired, and he got him out of there. That's smarts right there. That's using your brain. All right, he caught me this time. Now I'm gonna watch out for this looping right hook, and I'm gonna use my weight. I'm gonna pin him, and I'm gonna bully him. I'm gonna get this smaller guy out of here. I have the weight to really pin him up against the rope. He used his brain even after being knocked down on the canvas. He got a little too cute for his own good, and that's why he ended up on the canvas. But when he started thinking and using his brain, like, yo, this guy packs a punch. He can do this. That's when he adjusted his game plan and got Cunningham out of there. But all that being said, man, what do you think about Dillian White? I think he's good, but he's a beef fighter. He's a beef fighter. I don't see him beating like a Fury or Wilder or AJ or anybody like that, or Povetkin or Ortiz. I don't see him beating the top heavyweights, but he's a good fighter. He's one of those solid fighters. That's what it is. That's how I see Dillian White. He's a solid fighter. He's never going to be like the king of the mountain, or he's never going to be one of those guys that'll break through, because he's not going to be an elite guy, but he's always going to be a solid guy. Like if you want to see a good fight out of a guy, that's who Dillian White is. Dillian White is always going to come to fight, and he's going to always bring a good fight, but he's never going to be the elite guy. He's going to be one of those solid gatekeepers, basically. He's almost like a Derek Chisora. That's why that fight was so good with him and Derek Chisora, because if you really look at it, they're two identical guys. They're never going to beat the elite guys, but they're going to put on good fights, and they're going to put on good performances. You're going to know you've been in a fight with both of them, but they're never going to be the elite guys. You think Tackle versus Jones going to be good? It'll be a good watch. It'll be a good fight. Both of them got great heart. That's the thing I like about both of those guys, man. They got great heart. Yeah, I don't know who I would favor in that fight. I'll probably favor Jennings, honestly. Slightly. I'm like 55-45 Jennings on that fight, because I think Jennings offers a little bit more movement. He can evade a little bit more, whereas Tackle will try to come behind his guard. So I'm probably going to favor Jennings on points. I don't see a stoppage in that fight. I'll probably favor Jennings on points. Yeah. That's the way I see it, but I will probably favor Jennings on points. I don't even see a knockdown in that fight. I think it'll be a solid fight. But that's my piece on that, though, man. I think I think in order for this fight to happen at the end of the year, AJ is going to probably have to eventually come off that. Takam is tough as shit, man. He's tough as nails. He's tough as nails. That's why I said earlier, in the AJ fight, man. Like, I thought personally the stoppage was premature. I had AJ winning the fight, but I thought that stoppage was premature. I thought Takam still had, some going. I thought, he still had some fight in him. I'd rather let a guy finish on his own accord than to have a referee stop a fight early, And I don't think he was taking so much damage that the referee just had to jump in there. I think it was mostly his style, and I think, AJ was just too big for him. He had the reach advantage. AJ had came into the fight with all the advantages. You know what I'm saying? Physical advantages, should I say? But I think Takam was still game in that fight when the fight got stopped. And I think he gave Parker a run for his money. I think he gave Parker a run for his money when they fought. Or is a match that it gets the heart going. That's going to be from the time the bell rings versus Joshua and Wilder. People are going to be glued to their televisions because they know anything can happen at any moment. But like I said, the first few rounds, the first at least 3 rounds is going to be who will be able to establish their jab. And if I had to choose the person that would establish their jab, excuse me, the ability to establish their jab early in that fight, I'm probably going to take Wilder. Where you don't know the outcome. I don't think we know the outcome of AJ and Wilder. I don't think we necessarily know that because anything can happen. Anything can happen in that fight. But looking at fighting styles, what gives each person a problem, like AJ, he's smooth selling until around that 4th, 5th round. He's smooth selling until then. He's an excellent combination puncher. But how would he deal with someone that's going to have a longer reach, is going to be taller, is going to be the most athletic person he's been in the ring with by far, the most athletic person he's been in the ring with. He's going to be unorthodox as hell. That's going to be interesting, man. And you know what? That also is tiring to try to figure somebody out like that. Just to really think and try to figure someone out like that, that's tiring as well, man. So that's why I say AJ, he's got until those first 5 rounds to figure Wilder out. If he doesn't figure Wilder out in that 5 rounds, then advantage Wilder for the rest of the outcome of that fight. Because if he can't get those combinations off early, he can't establish his jab early, which I think he's going to get some good shots in because Wilder has a tendency to jump back. The thing about it is the thing about it, if AJ had the longer reach against Wilder, when Wilder jumps back like that, I would favor AJ in that fight. But since Wilder has longer reach, and AJ is going to realize, like, hey, I can't work my jab against him like I could somebody with a shorter reach. When Wilder jumps back like that, AJ has the tendency to swing wild, trying to throw those combinations. So, I don't know. What's your opinion on Bellew? I don't think Bellew carries the star power to get Andre Ward out of retirement. I don't think Bellew is that name. That's why I like this matchup with them. This is a pick 'em fight. Great betting odds. This is a big. Yeah, this is the biggest heavyweight fight of this era by far. But back to Bellew Ward. I don't think Bellew is that name to get Ward. They can play off of the Creed thing. You know what I'm saying? They can play off of that. But as far as like, it's gonna take something super enticing to get Andre Ward out of retirement, especially going into heavyweight. But what is that pot at the end of the rainbow? And how much are you willing to give Andre Ward to come out of retirement? They're going to really have to entice Andre Ward to come out of retirement. And I don't know if Tony Bellew is that name. I mean, yeah, he beat David Haye. He beat David Haye at the end of his career, Ask yourself this question. Is Tony Bellew a true heavyweight? Is he a true heavyweight? That's question one. And question 2, do you favor him to be a top heavyweight? And what does this do for Andre Ward's legacy if he comes out of retirement? I mean, these are all questions that Andre Ward will have to ask himself. These people catch heavyweight. Where would you rank him all? That's a hard question, man. I mean, there's no question that Andre Ward he definitely deserves consideration as far as like an all-time great, if not at any other weight at super middleweight. He's no question. You can say Calzaghe or Ward, and I would have no problem agreeing with you. You can say Calzaghe is the greatest super middleweight of all time. I have no problem with you. You can say Andre Ward is the greatest super middleweight of all time. I would have no problem with it. So there's no question he's an all-time great. Whether I rank him, I don't know. Because you got to look at cruiserweight. As far as great cruiserweights, I mean, to me, David Haye was one of the greatest cruiserweights ever. You know what I'm saying? But you got to look at Dwight Muhammad Qawi. You got to look at Evander Holyfield, who no question is the greatest cruiserweight of all time and one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. You know what I'm saying? Ward has never fought at heavyweight, and if he does fight at heavyweight, it's probably gonna be 1 or 2 fights. So it's kind of hard. Right now, his legacy is at super middleweight, and he had a solid light heavyweight career, but he didn't have a light heavyweight career that I would consider rankable. Super middleweight, no question. He's probably, if you look at resume, he's probably the greatest super middleweight of all time. But what he did in the Super 6 tournament, what he did after the Super 6 tournament, you know what I'm saying? Immediately after that, he fought the lineal light heavyweight champion and beat him. So, you know, you would probably have to rank Andre Ward as the greatest super middleweight of all time. But if you were to say Calzaghe, I would have no problem with that. And that's where his legacy is to me. Let's see here. This is going to be an interesting situation. I would expect to hear something by the end of this month. Well, no, middle of this month. I would say the middle of this month. I would expect to hear something about this fight in the middle of this month. I think if this fight doesn't get made towards the middle of this month, we'll have to wait till 2019 because I don't see they're gonna have to promote this thing through the summer and everything else. I don't know. Anyway, I'll probably be back. I'm debating on if I want to watch this triple. Yeah, they're gonna do. I wouldn't say 10. I would say about a 5-city tour. They're probably gonna do 1 or 2 cities in the UK, and if it happens in Vegas, you know they're gonna hit New York, LA, and Las Vegas. So those are gonna be the main places because you're gonna want UK fans to come over. So you're gonna probably hit London, and I would say, I don't know, like a Cardiff or Nottingham or something like that. Yeah, I'm debating on if I want to watch this Triple G fight tonight. I'm not 100% certain I want to watch that fight tonight because it really doesn't really interest me tonight. This is like the weakest Cinco de Mayo weekend we've had in boxing in a long time. Everybody knows this fight is BS. I'd have been much more happier with like a Boo Boo. Like if you'd have fought Boo Boo, I would have been good with that. But Vanez Monterosian, like this fight shouldn't even go 5 rounds. It shouldn't go 4 rounds. But who knows, man? Who knows? But I don't even like getting on top of the Triple G. A legit 160 fighter would have been great. A legit 160 fighter would have been great. But Monterosian, man, come on. Monterosian hasn't been in the ring, 2 years, something like that. So I don't know. I'm just leave it like that. I don't know. That's why I said I'm debating on whether I want to watch this fight. Because this fight is a joke, man. This fight is a joke. I might just go somewhere, eat tacos, and drink some tequila with my Mexican people. That's about it. Because I have no interest really in the fight. It's just that, you know, I kind of want to watch a fight tonight. It is Cinco de Mayo, you know, and as a boxing fan, you're accustomed to getting a fight on Cinco de Mayo. That's about it. And this is not the level we used to. All right, Matt. I'll holler at you later, man. I'll try to do a little something next week or something. All right, I'm about to end this. I will holler at y'all later, man. If you ain't sub. I'll talk to y'all later.